Hello, my name is Mathias and welcome to the Gameweek29 edition of the team selection video here on the FPL Scope YouTube channel. Gameweek29 is coming up and it's a huge double game week with a lot of questions surrounding what to do with Arsenal players who have a single game week, which players to bring in, which players to captain as well, even though Rashford is kind of the main guy for captaincy. But there's a lot of questions for Gameweek29. But before we go into what's going to happen in Gameweek29 and my plans for that game week, we're going to take a look back at the previous game week before the international break. Gameweek28, it was a pretty good game week for me, and that's mostly due to one of my transfers being Erling Braut Haaland to Alexander Isak. Switched out a Norwegian for a Swedish player, and that worked out really well for me because Isak scored twice against Nottingham Forest, looked really good, and it seems like he's going to be the full starting striker for Newcastle going forward because he's just that good. He scored 2 goals, he had an assist taken away, a beautiful assist that was only taken away due to some stupid offside rule, but he showed his class both as a goal scorer and as an assist maker, and yeah, I'm really happy about that transfer, going with Isak rather than going with someone like Watkins or Havertz, who still got points, but they got less points than Isak, who looks like a better player as well. So really happy with that. The second transfer I'm not as happy with, but it's sort of unfair that I didn't get any points from that. I say unfair, but Chilwell could have had a lot more points than the 1 point that he did get, because he looked really good against Everton and produced a lot of chances, and he looked like the player that I thought I was going to get when I brought him in. So 2-2 against Everton, kind of disappointing for Chelsea, especially defensively. I had both Chilwell and Arrizabalaga. They both lost their clean sheet due to Doucouré scoring a header, and then eventually Everton scoring a second goal with Ellis Sims scoring a 2-2 goal. But anyways, Chelsea, not the best defensively in that game, but they've been pretty good defensively this whole season, so I still have faith in Kepa and Chilwell going forward. Then we have Gabriel conceded a goal against Crystal Palace. Arsenal won 4-1, and Gabriel got 2 points rather than the 15 points he got the game week before, game week 27, when he scored and he was on my bench, and most of our benches, if we did own him, and he got 15 points, and now he got 2 points when I started him. So that's kind of typical for FPL, but that's just how it goes. Also had double Newcastle defense, who conceded against Nottingham Forest pretty early in the game. Botman actually made the mistake that made sure that Nottingham Forest scored. That was the 1-0 goal from Nottingham Forest, but it eventually led to Isak scoring both goals, or at least Newcastle had to win, and Isak scored 2 goals, so I can't really complain about that match in total. And to be fair, looking at the double Newcastle defense, it's pretty much just a single Newcastle defense because everyone has Trippier anyway, so I didn't really lose points from Trippier there. I just lost some points from Botman. So again, fair enough. That match was really good for me. The Friday match, Newcastle against Nottingham Forest, really happy with Isak, so can't complain about that match. Then the Arsenal match, that's where I sort of can complain. I guess I had 3 Arsenal players. I even had the main players, Saka, but I didn't captain him. I went with a differential captain instead, because for most of the week I was looking to captain Martinelli for that fixture, because I really liked Arsenal fixture against Crystal Palace, much more so than Spurs' fixture for Kane. But Martinelli was my guy. He had the best numbers the weeks prior, had really good FPL points and underlying stats as well. And I was going to captain him all the way until Arsenal played against Sporting Lisbon in the Europa League, and they got knocked out, and Martinelli played 120 minutes, missed the winning penalty, or missed the penalty that led to Arsenal going out of the Europa League. So I figured he might be rotated, and I didn't want to risk it with the captaincy for him. But during the time when I was looking to captain Martinelli, I was sort of downplaying the captaincy proficiency of Saka and Kane. And that sort of led to my downfall, because after Martinelli was sort of dropped as my captain, I was still on like the differential captain train. I figured there's two popular captaincy options with Saka and Kane, and people are kind of split between them, so I can choose another guy without taking too much damage if one of them scores. But of course I should have just stuck with the Arsenal fixture, because Arsenal are the best team in the league currently, and they played one of the worst teams in the league, Crystal Palace, and they won 4-1, not surprisingly really. Saka ended up with 18 points, 2 goals, 1 assist, I think. And yeah, looked really good. And he's looked really good in the international break as well for England. He's in the form of his life, and that's why it's going to be a really difficult decision for people to either keep or sell Saka, especially. Martinelli, not so much probably, because Trossard is playing a lot for Arsenal now. Gabriel Jesus is coming back, and Nketiah's going back at some point as well. There's going to be more contention for places for Martinelli. I still think he's going to be a starter for them, but I think his minutes will be sort of limited. So yeah, we'll get to Martinelli later in Gameweek 29. Moving on to the strikers, already talked about Isak, also kind of touched upon Kane. I didn't actually mention Madison in midfield. He got an assist, 4 points, got a yellow card as well, which is kind of annoying because now he's up to 8 yellow cards. So his long-term prospects are maybe not the best for Madison. But in the immediate future, I think Madison is a really good pick because yeah, he's been having really good matches for Leicester. It's just been unlucky not to get more points. Got an assist finally, but he's going to get more and more, I think, from now on. I think Leicester have sort of underperformed lately as well. I think they have the ability to bounce back, and they sort of have to because they have really easy fixtures now coming up, and they are a much better team than what the table should suggest. Like, they shouldn't be near the bottom, but hey, I guess that's Brendan Rodgers' work, and he might be fired eventually, but we'll see. Anyways, moving on to the strikers, the forwards. Kane, like I said, game against Southampton away. Didn't really expect much from that fixture, but Spurs looked way better than expected, to be honest, because Southampton got 2 injuries pretty early in the game for the defense, and Kane took advantage, scored a really nice header, but as it looked like he was going to get the bonus 3 and Spurs were looking like they were going to get a pretty easy win, Southampton fought back in the game, got 3-3. Kane lost all his bonus points, and Conte lost his mind afterwards, and yeah, complained enough to get sacked for Spurs. So that might affect Kane going forward as well. I'm a bit iffy on Kane as a prospect in terms of how much money he costs. I think the funds might be better elsewhere, but we'll get to that as well. But finally, we got to talk about the biggest disappointment of the game week for me, and that was Ivan Toney. He was playing at home against Leicester. I was figuring that's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be one of those 3-3, 4-2 type of games, but the Spurs and Wolverhampton Leeds matches were instead the high-scoring games, and the Brentford-Leicester match was 1-1. A pretty tame affair, with Brentford being the best team in the first half and Leicester being the best team in the second half. Toney had 2 good scoring positions, but the passes didn't really go all the way to him properly, so didn't really get to score. Kind of unlucky, but at the same time didn't have the best numbers in that match, Toney, and ended up with just 2 points and a flop of a captain when I could have captained Saka easily for 18 points. So that's kind of annoying, and that's the second annoying thing about the game week, because the other one is on my bench. I have Danny Ward, and he lost his place for Leicester, and I'm looking to bench boost now in Game29, and I need to swap out Ward. So I had Sanchez and Ward as my goalkeepers on the Game26 wildcard, and now it seems like, or I'm going to have to do another hit to bring in a different goalkeeper for Ward. So I'm going to do, in total, I will have done a -8 hits to get 2 goalkeepers starting for the double game week 29, when I was hoping to have just 2 goalkeepers set to go from Brighton and Leicester. But I got to make some change of plans, and we'll look at those current plans right now. Moving on to the Game29 plans, I have 2 transfers made already, and that is Martinelli to Fernandes and Ward to Everson. Like I said, with the goalkeepers, I'm just doing the simple swap of Leicester goalkeepers, because I'm probably just going to need him for this game week and don't really need the goalkeeper long term. So Everson, he's going to play both matches. Leicester have really easy fixtures against Crystal Palace and Aston Villa. They might still concede in both matches, but I think it's just, I don't really need a more expensive goalkeeper. I can't really see any other great goalkeeper options anyway, and I need the money. So yeah, that's why I have Everson as the goalkeeper now. On the bench boost, as you can see from the bench, on the bench you can see like the sort of thing going around the edges there. That's the really lame graphic that they have for bench boost currently in FPL. But anyways, I'm bench boosting with this bench, or almost this bench, because I'm probably looking to do Gabriel to Luke Shaw as well. I have 2 potential moves. One of them is Gabriel to Shaw, and I'm sort of like leaning like 80-90% sure that I'm going to do Gabriel to Shaw. Not mostly because of this game week, because I think actually Man United without Casemiro aren't that good, and they might concede in both matches. I kind of hope so, since I have Isak and Toney myself as strikers. But I think in the future, I think Shaw is better, and he also has a higher ceiling this game week with two fixtures, so he can get a goal or an assist in those games as well, and he might get a clean sheet here or there. So he has a higher ceiling than Gabriel, who only has Leeds at home. I think Gabriel will keep a clean sheet, potentially get bonus and stuff, so not 100% sure I'm going to do that transfer, but I think with future game weeks in mind, as we'll see eventually in this video, I think Shaw is the better pick than Gabriel for the same price. Now the other potential move I have is selling Saka for McAllister. I only have 2 Brighton players because, like I mentioned, I had Sanchez in goal previously, so that was my 3rd Brighton player, and now I only have 2. But I feel like Brighton, yes, they have amazing fixtures in Game Week 29, but Game Week 30 and Game Week 31 are pretty bad for Brighton, 2 away games against Spurs and Chelsea. So I feel like Saka over the 3 game weeks will outscore McAllister, or at least have a good chance of doing that. And I think just Saka is just so good lately, so I'm kind of scared to sell him, and that's why I'm probably going to delay that transfer until like Game Week 33, when Brighton start to get a lot of double game weeks at the end of the season. So that's my thinking for this current game week. I think my bench is looking pretty good, especially with Shaw as the final defender there. And yeah, I'm just going to do the bench boost, get it over with, so I can downgrade the bench and get some cheaper players, so I don't have to worry about a really pricey bench going forward in the FPL season. So FPL season, just before we go on to the future in FPL in terms of Game Week 30, 31 and onwards, I'm going to go through the plans for that as well, or the tentative plans at least. You can't really plan that much in advance, but I have some small plans already. But before we do that, we're going to talk a bit about captaincy this week, and I think Rashford is the standout captaincy option. He was obviously out with an injury, an international break injury, if you want to call it that, for England. Didn't play for England, but it seems like he's going to be fine for both matches this game week. But if he's not, the 2 other captaincy options for me are Maddison, who I talked about earlier. I think he looks really good, and he has the best fixtures as well, Crystal Palace and Aston Villa at home. Or just going with Bruno Fernandes, who I might actually go with as a differential anyway, because I'm pretty high on Fernandes. I could have brought in McAllister for Martinelli as well rather than Fernandes, but I feel like Fernandes is going to be a must-own player going forward. So I figured I should just get him straight away. And he's still kind of a captaincy option, but I still think Rashford is the more safe pick. So I'm going to stick with Rashford most likely, unless there are some injury news right before the deadline. I also gotta watch out for McAllister news as well. If he's back from international break early and he looks likely to play, I'll consider the Saka to McAllister move already, but taking a -12 hit is sort of just, it feels kind of wrong, especially with Saka being so good lately. So yeah. Moving on to future game weeks, let's take a look. This is the current game week, Game Week 29 on FPL.team, where you can plan out many game weeks in advance. You can plan out what to do. As you can see, I have the bench boost here unlocked, or locked, whatever you want to say, utilized. I have bench boost, and yeah, I'm gonna do the transfers that I'm looking to do, and that is Martinelli to Fernandes. I've already done this, and Ward to Everson. These are the transfers that I'm already doing. Just gonna look up Everson, he's there. And then finally, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do the Gabriel to Shaw move as well. That's why I have Shaw starting, because this would be my proper bench with Kane and Saka on the bench, with Botman as the final one, and then Shaw starting. So I think that's a pretty strong team. 132 predicted points, -8 still, but it looks really good. And yeah, not Tony captain. I'm not going to do that mistake again. I'm going to do Rashford captain, but you don't really have to pay attention to the captaincy in this section of the video, because it's going to be a bit jumbled up. But anyways, moving on to Game Week 30, everyone's going to want to bring in Haaland. And that's the thing. If I don't do the Saka to McAllister move, I can't do Tony to Haaland. But I kind of want to sell Kane anyway, so I think that's what I'm leaning towards currently. Kane to Haaland, just straight up. It might be a bit risky because Kane has a home game and Haaland is an away game, but I think Brighton, who face Spurs that game week, are just really good, and I think they're going to beat Spurs in that match. So don't have the highest of hopes for Kane, even though Brighton have shown that they can concede stupid goals here and there. But anyways, I'm still looking forward to do that move. Then I have some other potential decisions as well. Striker, I could choose between Isak or Tony. They're facing each other. Tony has the home game, but Tony might even be suspended for that game. So I might even have to sell Tony if he's about to go down in price, because as you'll see in Game Week 31, I'm pretty close to... I'm going to be barely squeaking by if I manage to do the move that I want to do, and I'll take a look at that as well. I just want to mention the final sort of dilemma. Goalkeepers as well. Roya at home to Newcastle or Everson at home to Bournemouth. I just feel like with 2 Newcastle players, it would be more... I'd have to go more double or nothing sort of thing, and go for the goalkeeper that can't concede to any of my players, compared to Raya, who I want to concede with Isak and Trippier playing. But anyways, moving on to Game Week 31. It's here as well. I have 2 transfers in mind actually, and one of them is, like I said, Tony. I might just do this the game week before, since he's on the bench anyway. So if I switch Tony to Greenwood, who is the cheapest striker in the game, 4.0, super cheap, then I have enough money to do Maddison to Salah exactly, as you can see, 0.0 million. So I don't get to have Kane in this game week, but I get to have Salah. Sorry, I say that twice in a row, but I get to have Salah as a sort of differential for game week 31. I think most people won't be able to get Salah in that quickly, and I think him against Leeds, who he has been amazing against historically, because Leeds, they have a lot of space in the back, and Salah can go and score there. He's shown that plenty of times. Leeds is one of his favorite opponents, so I think Salah is going to be a really good option in game week 31. So that's currently what I'm leaning towards doing. You can only really think like about three game weeks in advance, because after that it's going to be a bit murky. But game 32 is going to be a free hit for sure. If you look at my squad, I have a lot of players that don't play: Shaw, Chilwell, Fernandes, Rashford, Haaland, March, Estupinian, and then even Greenwood, who probably wouldn't play anyway. So I'm going to free hit this game week. Still don't know about the team. We'll wait for game week 32 to do that. Then game week 33 is when most people would look at like, why didn't I keep Maddison rather than Saka? Because Saka has tough fixtures and Maddison has pretty decent fixtures at this moment. But this is where I'm looking to do Saka to McAllister finally, and free up some of that cash, sell Saka before the tough match against City away, and get McAllister against Nottingham Forest away, and also have McAllister for game week 34 when he has a double game week. And I have 3 Brighton players on the double game week. I don't have Arsenal, who have a single game week, and my squad list is looking really, really good. You know, my bench is looking decent with Isak and Botman against Southampton, but I'm just going to have to bite the bullet on that one. And it also leaves me with 3 million in the bank, so I could do Chilwell to a Liverpool defender like Trent Alexander-Arnold or Robertson, but I also can do Botman to one of those guys. Botman potentially has a double game again 36, so maybe I won't sell him, but I kind of want to do him to, I think Robertson is what I'm leaning towards currently from Liverpool. And then I just have to bench Chilwell, so Chilwell makes sense to bench there against Arsenal away. So that would be a pretty decent game week 34 for squad with a lot of double game weekers. I might also even do like another City defender, maybe, rather than Robertson, but I don't think so. I think this is a good team. Could probably still do Raya to Ederson as well if I want to do that. If I want to get that final City defender, I do have the money to do that, but I don't really know about Ederson, but that will give me 2 more matches, or 1 more match at least, so I might do that because Ederson has a better end of the season than Raya anyway. So yeah, those are just some decent potential transfers that I have. So I feel like I have a pretty good plan going forward, but of course there's going to be injuries, there's going to be players all of a sudden looking really good and you need to have them. So yeah, I'm sure these will not be my exact transfers, but I have at least a decent tentative plan should everything go as planned, really. So anyways, that is some of my thoughts for the future game weeks, my thoughts for game week 29. Hope you enjoyed the video. You can like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. That would be very much appreciated. You can like this video, of course, and subscribe to the channel. You can comment down below if you have any questions about game week 29 that you want answered, because I tend to answer the YouTube comments in general. And yeah, if you have any thoughts, any queries, anything, any like dilemmas between two players, if you want to know if you want to sell Saka for a hit or not for Fernandes, that's probably something that I'm going to ponder myself if I would do that personally. But anyways, any comment, please feel free to send me a comment down below if you want to. And yeah, like everything else that I mentioned, you can do that as well. But that's been enough for me for this team selection video. I hope you have a nice double game week 29. It's going to be a fun end of the season. Now it's the final stretch, the final 10 game weeks of the season, and I think there's a lot of rank to be gained. As you can see, I haven't really talked about my rank yet, but as you can see, my rank isn't the best. I'm still above 1 million rank, but considering I was like 2 million not that long ago, I'm making some strides now, and I feel like I can do a lot better and push on to get at least a like respectable rank at the end of the season. I tend to finish within the top like 30k, but that's looking pretty difficult this game week, so I'll be happy with anything above 300k, I guess. I'd be sort of happy with at this current moment. But anyways, I hope you have a better season than me, and I hope to see you next time as well on the team selection video next week. And with that, I'm gonna leave you. Thank you, and goodbye.